We are back and we are live. It is Fight IQ presented by RotoWire. Here to talk UFC 87, the rematch, because we're in the era of rematches in the UFC. It's Israel Adesanya. Actually, I got to flip that. It's Alex Pereira, who is the A side. He's the champion, taking on Israel Adesanya as the challenger, the former champ. This is their rematch, a second fight. They fought a few times in kickboxing, and we're going to go through it here on Fight IQ. Talk about everything DraftKings for UFC 287. 13 fights on this card. I'm your host, the Daily Fantasy Sniper. With me, as always, the co-host, the analyst, the important guys of the show, Joe down there. Sun Tzu, you maybe see him flip around with his green screen. He is playing. And Chris, also known on Twitter as the onlyest, I don't know. He's got some weird name. Follow him on Twitter if you want to see some weird stuff. And some crazy takes. Guys, Joe, I'll start with you. How was your week? You ready for this card?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit depressed, truth be told. I was all excited to make the announcement on Monday that this was Chris Barnett fight week. And unfortunately, at 5'9", he could not make the 265-pound limit a week ahead of time. So I was already crafting in my head multiple lineups with Chris Barnett. I was kind of like, I called my contractor. I was going to remodel a bathroom with the money that I won, fading Chase Sherman, because, fading Chase Sherman, we all know, is better than compound interest.
Say the line.
It's the rule of 72, baby. So now I had to call my contractor up, put him on hold. Hopefully he'll give me my deposit back. And now we've got Carl Williams, and we got, Chase the Great at 8.8K on DraftKings. And plus, 340, 320. So
we'll get there,
I was a little depressed, dude.
Chris, how's your week? You doing good? You doing well?
Week's pretty good. I co-signed with Joe. I mean, that was the silliest dog money. I think it opened at like plus 200 or something. We all know how that was going to go. Main event, as you mentioned, that it's pretty silly to me that we're getting any kind of plus money on one guy who's beaten the other one 3 times. I know 2 weren't in MMA. I know we heard him a couple of times. Yada, yada, yada. We will get to all the reasons why I think Alex Pereira beats Israel Adesanya even worse the 3rd time around. And I'm excited to talk some fights. So let's get to it.
All right, you guys who are on YouTube, welcome. Let's see you guys in the chat. Happy to talk some fights with you guys. And we'll do our reads up front. Make sure you go to rotowire.com/free, 10-day free trial to all their premium content. No credit card required. They got you covered with all kinds of good stuff for all kinds of sports, season-long, daily fantasy, all that at RotoWire. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, RotoWire MMA, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Record these Fridays, 8 o'clock, pay-per-view weeks. Come join us in the chat if you don't already. All right, let's go ahead. Let's jump into some fights. And actually, the teaser for the whole card is all I keep hearing all week is how there's so many great underdogs to choose from. You can make a case for everybody. I got a couple I can make a choice for. I think that narrative is really overblown this week. I mean, there's a couple I'm mixing in, but we'll get there. And I'm really dogs I like, Font, Ponzinibbio, and maybe we're going to talk about all of them. We're gonna the Ponzinibbio.
2 out of 3. Cameron.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. I agree, Joe.
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
But I wonder which 2.
Yeah, I don't. I think we're confusing with live dogs versus like.
I'll tell you what. At least on one of those 3, the line should be flipped.
All right, we're gonna get there. I'm pretty chalky this week with. I think there's more GPP dogs to talk about, DraftKings specific, but we'll get there. Let's dig into the fights. Everyone's into Font, guys. You're gonna have to explain this to me a little bit. I kind of get it, but let's just save it. Let's get to the fights. First up, we're gonna talk about Jacqueline Amarim. She's minus 275 against Sam Hughes, who is plus 235. Amarim 9th. I don't know if it's at the prices, so I'm going to. First fight, focus in. Amarim's 9,000, Sam Hughes 7,200. Not sure I let off that way. And first fight of the night's a women's fight. We have to start with Joe. Joe, you're up.
Yeah, so Amarin has a V rating of 2.0. By the way, the V.
Plus, I get to watch Chris squirm the whole time.
Yeah, so just so you guys know,
I was so hoping you'd forgotten.
No. How could I forget something that's 6-1? With major dogs. Actually,
no.
It's 5-2, but KGB Lee got robbed. So in any case, this is the first V metric play. Amarin's 2.0, and there's great narrative. This is actually a revenge fight for her. Now you're asking, looking at Tapology, they never fought. How could this be a revenge fight? Well, Sam Hughes is Stella Nunez, and Jacqueline Amarin. So this is a revenge fight. She's gonna kind of beat her girl down a bit, and avenge Estela Nunez's loss. And I like Amarin a lot here. In all seriousness, LFA, top-notch jiu-jitsu. Sam Hughes is tough, which I think actually plays into me liking Amarin more for DraftKings because, one takedown, very little significant strikes, very little control time, and a choke, and you're looking at like 95 points at 9K, which is not something you really want in GPPs. It's okay in cash. But I think, Hughes might be able to tough it out. We might even, maybe get this into the second round, get some control time, get a few multiple takedowns. But I like Amarin here, and I think this is one of my favorite cash plays.
It's funny. I've seen a lot of love for Sam Hughes just based on how they looked in the scales because Amarin, a little bit sucked out and kind of looked, meh. And you got Sam Hughes flexing and looking.
Oh, you forgot about the revenge fight. Sam Hughes always looks in shape, though. Sam Hughes was what, a steeplechaser or something like that.
Yeah, she's in great shape.
She always is in great shape. Unfortunately, she gets taken down by her pillow at night. So
and that's the issue. So bad stylistic matchup. So I'm on Amarin as well. Chris, who you got? What's your V rating for the fight, sir?
My MMA rating for the fight is very, very high. No, I think
Joe's the guy who brings in the views. I'm just here to be funny, and you're here to say crazy shit. You gotta know our rules.
Well, I'm the MMA egghead, at least in my own mind. But no, I agree. I like her a lot, Amarin, and I think she's got some GPP upside as well, just because. Hey, you mentioned the takedown accuracy rate, the get-ups, and the potential repeat takedowns. And also, Sam Hughes can't really win a fight unless she's the one wrestling offensively. She's not going to be able to do that here because she's not as good at jiu-jitsu as Amarin is. So I really don't see much paths for her. Like, she's sort of a slow, plodding boxer that's never really gotten her anywhere. I don't think she'll start here. I think Amarin could be a nice pay-up option here because it's 13 fights. Nobody's really going to be paying attention to her. We got bigger names up the card. And I like it a lot. I mean, I could see 103, 104 pretty easy here. So I like Amarin a lot, and I'm going to be kicking off the card with a bang, I hope.
All right, next fight up, we're going to talk Shailin Nuranbake, here on known as Yilin Shah. He's 8,900, taking on Steve Garcia. Garcia is 7,300. Line in this fight, Shah is minus 185, Garcia is plus 160. I had something to say, but I'll kick it to Chris while I hit the cough button here to sneeze. So, Chris, you're up.
It's funny because going into that Derek Minner fight with Nuranbeke, I said that Derek Minner's pressure, it could really pay dividends. And we didn't really get to see that because Derek Minner may or may not be a person of interest in an ongoing.
Let's remove may or may not. I'll go ahead and say this for I'm gonna speak for all of us. The opinion of this show is clearly Derek Minner was hurt beforehand, and clearly somebody knew about it, and that's what happened.
Okay, period. We can say that. We can say somebody knew about
it. Let's not go into. And the bigger issue we should be talking about is why Derek Minner was in that position in terms of fighter pay, the way they take care of fighters, etc. The gambling stuff's another side of it, but clearly, I mean, I could have finished Derek Minner on that night. Clearly.
I mean, the best part to me was that he kicks and then he kicked with the same leg.
So, that was some kind of fight IQ, which is concerning.
It was something. But so the reason I bring that up is to say that I can't count that as a win or a loss on the fight read because it wasn't a real fight, basically. So I'm going to go with it again here, and I'm going to say that Nuranbeke is going to struggle with the pressure of Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia hits very hard. We saw that against Chase Hooper, and Nuranbeke doesn't like getting put on the back foot. He's a guy who excels when he can be the bully. I don't think he's going to get to be the bully here. At 7,300, there's a lot of potential here. Steve Garcia can wrestle a little bit as well. There's a lot of ways this can go really, really well. I like Steve Garcia quite a bit. I'm going to have a lot of action in the first few fights here. You guys are going to know how my night went fairly early on. I'm taking Steve Garcia.
I'm picking Yalan Shaw just because I think he's cleaner on the feet, and I think Garcia is aggressive. I think he's going to walk into something. But for that reason, I like both sides of this on DraftKings. He is, while I'm not picking him, he's one of my favorite dog plays on the card because I think this fight's going to be wild, and I'm not in on Shah Yilan. Like, it's just kind of up in the air. Garcia is going to force a big score either way. So I'm picking Shah, but I in general agree with the breakdown. Joe, who you got?
So quickly, a couple quick shout outs here. My good buddy Alan in Central Coast, California, man, if there is a better place to live, I don't know where it is. And also Jimmy Jacks has been really giving me the 411 on Rainmakers, which I've kind of gotten into in a major way. So thanks for that, Jimmy Jacks. Alan, hope you're watching. Have a great card. This fight is going to be a part of the hot take. I'm teasing it that I'm going to give. I think Garcia is going to be very popular. And I think this is a GPP fight that you should play. Essentially Garcia early and Shy late. So I was initially picking Shy, and I'm going to kind of back off of that since it's not like registered anywhere. And I'm going to go with Garcia. And if he gets it done, I believe he's going to get it done within a round and a half. So I think he's going to be a very popular underdog. Yes, he could cardio dump. And if he doesn't get it done in a round and a half, I don't think he's gone more than a round and a half in years. I mean, whoever has Topology open can kind of check that out. But if he gets it done, he's going to get it done in a round and a half, which is why I like this as a GPP fight. I'll have a few shares of Shy, because I could certainly see him, coming on strong late, but he's going to have to deal with that initial pressure. And if you're a slow starter, that's really not something, you're going to want to deal with. So give me the dog here, but play this fight in DraftKings.
All right, let's move on. We'll talk about our next fight. Ignacio Bahamondes, 9,400, taking on Trey Ogden at 6,800. Bahamondes minus 415, Ogden plus 315. I mean, Bahamondes, I think, is cleaner everywhere and just better. So I guess Trey Ogden gets takedowns. He can pull something out here, but I'm not seeing it. I think Bahamondes is just cleaner on the feet. I'm more 9,400. I'm worried about the upside here of Bahamondes. He's going to need a finish. He's gotten third round finishes in each of his last two fights. Kind of, the highlight reel one he had against Danny Roberts. It was so. I think it's going to be a striking. I think he's going to keep him on the feet. I think it's going to outstrike him. I think he wins a decision. I'm just not very. I don't feel good about it for DraftKings, really. Joe, who you got?
Yeah, cash play. I like him. I like him here. I mean, 99.4K is tough, particularly for GPPs. I think he's safe in cash. I could see him beating up on Ogden and maybe getting a late finish and scoring enough points to be cash viable, but GPP borderline here. And then, you've got fighters around him that are going to catch a lot of play. But I do like, Trey Ogden kind of, he fell into a fortunate situation. I'm not taking anything away from his win, but he was against that highly lauded prospect who really just didn't show up. He was a 300, plus 300 underdog in that fight and ended up pulling it out. Oh, what's his Zoolander? I'm calling him Zoolander.
Yeah, let's put that. That works.
Yeah, let's go with Zoolander. Yeah, Zoolander never showed up. He got the win. Great win. But I think that, his time is over. And, 6'3", Ignacio, man, he's massive. He's huge. I think he's going to piece Ogden up. A finish would not surprise me. But if he just beats him up for 3 rounds, what does he throw? 8 strikes a minute?
8.33. Crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'll take it. Maybe get a knockdown or 2. I think he's a very safe cash play.
Yeah, Zebhuller really never showed up. That was one of the worst total. I've seen guys lose, and lose is fine. He no-showed like he sleptwalked through that fight. I remember it. That was rough to watch. Anyway, Chris, who you got?
Yeah, just for context, Ogden was 6,800 in that fight. It didn't even make 10x. So I mean,
it was so bad.
Yeah,
I remember all of it because I had a fair amount of Zebhuller because he should have. He just never got on the gas pedal. It was weird. but it happens.
I mean, but that's the kind of fighter Ogden is. He's very slow. He's very do just enough in each round to win. If you force him into grappling exchanges, he can grapple and actually be kind of fun. But he's not really going to initiate that by himself. And you said Roosevelt Roberts. I think you said Danny Roberts, but you meant Roosevelt.
Oh yeah, I meant Roosevelt. Yeah, Roosevelt Roberts.
Yeah. So I mean, Bob Mendez has already won this fight, kind of. I mean, there's not that much difference between the two guys, and Bob Mendez, cash play because of the crazy volume. If he happens to find a knockout somewhere, he's going to score big. But 94 is it? It's too much, and I don't trust Ogden, so this is mainly a stay away fight for me in GPPs.
All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to Lupi Godinez, 9,200, taking on Cynthia Calvillo at 7,000. Line of this fight, Godinez -300, Calvillo +250. It's funny. This is the one. This is the dog I am on. I'm going to take Cynthia Calvillo just because of the step up in competition. It's a big one. The problem is Lupi is going to want to grapple, and if Calvillo can't stop the takedown, she's way too comfortable on her back. She definitely is. I'm glad to see if Calvillo made weight. She's the kind of fighter that's hard to get a read on because you never know which version of her is going to show up. And I can say that again later in the night. It's a fight that is really frustrating me for that reason is who is it? Gastelum and Curtis. I have no idea which version. Each of those guys has 5 versions of them, and I don't know which one of them is going to show up to fight each other. It's for that reason that fight drives me bananas. And I feel like Calvillo's the same way. I'm taking the shot on her price because if she can get on top, I think her jiu-jitsu is better. The problem is her offensive wrestling. On the feet, Lupi's bad on the feet to me. Lupi needs to get takedowns. The problem is if I'm wrong in my read, Lupi's going to put up a big score. Lupi puts up a good score in her win here because it'll be a lot of takedowns or control time. So I'm going to have both sides of this fight. Push me for a pick. I'm taking Calvillo for some of the experience and the better BJJ. Chris, you're first for this fight.
So, yeah, I'm taking Calvillo, but I think I'm a little more confident in it than you are. I think
you're not at all concerned about the offensive wrestling of Lupi? Because that's my concern.
Not really, because I think that if it hits the ground, she's just going to be so much better at jiu-jitsu that it's not going to matter. I think
she lays there. She lays there for so long.
I know, but this time I think she can actually work. Maybe I'm biased. I still remember that Gator roll against Amanda Bobby Cooper, was it? Where she climbed up the back and found the rear naked choke?
You mean Amanda Bobby Cooper who got put on her ass by Mackenzie Dern?
I don't recall that, no. But I think that, and I'm glad you mentioned the boxing because usually it's the boxing that is like her downfall and you're screaming at her to wrestle.
I know. She's the better striker.
Yeah. Now I think if she stays on the feet, the boxing is actually going to look pretty good and play up here. So I think she's actually got more advantages in this fight than she's had in a long time. And I think this is the spot to pick her. I don't know how many more of these you're going to get, but I think this is a spot where the opponent hasn't really done much. You mentioned the step up in competition. And if she can't boss her opponent around, which I don't think she's going to be able to do to Calvillo, I don't really think she has a good time. So my pick is Calvillo, and I feel pretty good about it, actually.
No one's going to have a good time. Joe, you got it?
Okay, so I was pleasantly surprised when she made weight without the hoop. I mean, I thought she was definitely going to need the hoop. She's coming off a 4-fight losing streak. This has got to be a pink slip fight for her, right? I mean, she doesn't, let's be frank, and I'm trying to be kind here. She doesn't have the looks of a fighter that the UFC is going to give, 5 losses to and keep on the roster, right?
She was a Nate Diaz stable person, but now, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, she was at Alpha Male for all that time, and now I think she moved to Vegas. Vegas.
It also doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Okay, so what I did is I pivoted off of I was gonna play Rodriguez in cash, and I pivoted once I saw how well. I actually we could get into that later, but I kind of flipped for the scale. I mean, Rodriguez did not look good. He looked soft. He didn't make weight. He took extra time. And Calvillo looked pretty good. So I'm kind of back on Calvillo for cash, and off C-Rod. So I guess I'll pick her. I was kind of looking at Calvillo as having a really solid floor at her price point. So I'll kind of join I'll join Christopian and go with Calvillo here.
Chris. Oh no, sorry.
I'll go again.
I gotta go. No. I got distracted for a second. I had to mute to handle a quick question on the homestead. Let's go to the next fight. Let's talk. Oh, it's Joe's favorite fight. I'm glad Joe gets to go first. Carl Williams, 9,500, taking on Chase Sherman, 8,800. Yeah, those don't match because of the late pullout. Sherman's price was already set, and I got to pay a premium on him. Carl Williams, minus 425. Chase Sherman, plus 325. Carl Williams should take down Chase Sherman and teabag him for 3 rounds. Don't play Chase Sherman outside of a very deep GPP shot. I'm going to save everybody some time. Joe, who you got?
Yeah, so look, yeah.
Give us explanation now. I thought it was compound interest. All right, good.
No, well, yeah, he is. Shaun, is that the world's smallest microwave on top of that little white refrigerator behind you?
Yes, that is my microwave. Listen, when I was dying from COVID, I got my own. I stayed just in this office. I was fully self-contained.
Nice.
Got some food.
And is that a Coke or a Diet Coke pillow?
It's an easy bake oven.
That is a Diet Coke pillow.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking as much. Okay, back to fights. Here is the risk with Williams, right? So, Williams is taking this on short notice, coming off of a fight, which is, anyone will tell you that taking a short notice fight is much worse when you're coming off of having fought than just coming off of just simply doing your daily training. And the reason for that is, especially when you win like he did and win impressively, you're going to kind of go off the rails a bit. You're going to, have a few cocktails, some food, and, maybe take a little bit of time off. So my concern here is cardio. Now, what I would like to see happen is I would like to see Williams take Chase Sherman, and because he's not that big a finisher, get a lot of ground control time and just ride him out. I think the more he has to work, like we love rinse and repeat takedowns for scoring, but, no one's going to confuse Carl Williams with Merab. So, Give me a takedown around. I'll take 3 takedowns. I'll take a lot of control time, some significant strikes. Look, Chase has got the world's biggest head. He's easy to hit. Let Carl Williams kind of grind out a decision. Maybe give me 4 takedowns. I don't know.
You seen Calvin Gastelum's melon?
Yeah, I mean, he's a hard guy to use in GPP, but he's coming off of a 130-point win, a decision win, and I think that's going to draw a lot of people in. I see him as more of a cash play personally. Again, I don't know that we're going to get rinse and repeat takedowns on Chase Sherman just because I don't think Chase Sherman's that good at getting up.
Control time.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get control. Let's get control time. Let's get a takedown around. Let's get a few pitter patter, like hitting that big head of Chase's, and come away with a 105, 110. I think it's a perfect cash score. So yeah, I'm going to pick Williams here. I can't pick Chase. I know some people have picked Chase. I just can't do it. I mean, Clint, a couple other people. Look, I'm not saying there's not a path to victory here. All kidding aside. I mean, if Williams has to work too hard to get takedowns, I could see him gassing. I mean, I could certainly see him gassing. I just hope he plays this smart.
Will keep bringing pressure. Like, he's not going to stop. You guys say you love about Chase. He's going to walk forward the whole time.
Yeah, so, I mean, he just needs to get him down, hold him down, get the control time, and hit him in that big head, and we'll be good.
Please stop saying that. It makes me laugh every time. Chris, who you got?
So I actually wrote in one of my breakdowns that if
hit him in that big head. Please say you said that.
Yeah, Joel actually stole that from me, and I'm very angry about it. No, I actually wrote that if this wasn't like with the weird conditions with the price and Chase Sherman, this would actually be really good conditions to take a shot on a dog because it's as Joe mentioned, a late heavyweight, a guy who fought a month ago, a little more than a month ago, and had 8 takedowns in that fight, and it was an exhausting fight for him. So everything seems to line up to be like, yeah, maybe take a shot. And especially Chase Sherman's that much money, nobody's gonna be on it. He's gonna be like 13% owned. So if he gets a finish, it's gonna be big. here's the reason why it's still hard to do it. And I mean, he's even gotten better. He's incorporated leg kicks, which are nice. He's not consistent with anything. He gets so tired. He gets tired. He still tries to fight, but he can't do it. And Carl Williams lasted those 3 rounds. God bless him. 8 takedowns, like I said. Like, we'll see how hard he has to work here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hate a couple of GPP shots for the reasons I laid out. But, like, I think the most common thing that's going to happen here is he's going to take down Sherman maybe 2 or 3 times. Sherman's going to give up and wilt, and he's either going to sub or maybe finish him with strikes. But he's never had a sub. And I think a finish by strikes is like, I don't know, it's a lot. It's like plus 400 or something. So that's something to look into. I don't really see this fight seeing the final bell because I just think there's going to be too much wrestling and somebody's going to give. So I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I still have to take Williams, but I can't hate a Chase Sherman. There's going to be massive scarcity on it. And, hey, it's low-level heavyweight. So
I'm pretty sure you'd be making a bet because I'm almost positive you get plus money for a fight does not go to decision. For a heavyweight fight. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the over 2.5 was like pick 'em. It's over 2.5 is minus 114.
Wow.
Fight ends inside the distance, minus 115 apiece. Pick them. So not quite plus money, but pick them there.
Yeah, good enough.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Let's talk B. Joe Pyfer. No, yes, it is. Did I skip a fight? It didn't. Good. All right, start over. B. Joe Pyfer. B. Joe Pyfer, guys. He's 8,700. Gerald GM3 Mearshart is 7,500. A line on this fight right now. I opened up my other odds here. Damn you, Carl Williams and Chase Sherman inside the distance. Damn you. All right. Piper's minus 190. Mearshart's plus 165. Look, guys, just be Joe Pyfer. No, GM3 is he's a live dog because he's really look, if Joe Pyfer is not who we think he is, Mearshart is gonna give him the vet lesson and beat him. Period. There are spots where this is, I think, I'm a little higher than the crowd. Like the crowd is into Christian Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson Gomez, and I think going to light those plays up because I don't like them. So I get to replace my ownership with somebody, and I'm going to replace it with some GM3. I think this fight is good on both sides on DraftKings because I think Pyfer is going to go out and not quite Hamzat Chimaev starch him on strikes in the first round, but he'll pressure him and beat him on the feet in the first round. Or if he's not as good as we think, Mearshart will take him down at 7,500, maybe get a sub. And I like the winner of this fight to end up in the optimal lineup. So I like this fight quite a bit. I'm going to pick Joe Pyfer and the pressure and the striking and getting it done. But a GM3 win would not surprise me. What's up to everybody in chat and everybody who's all high on those two I just mentioned? Get ready to send some hate my way. Some hateful stuff coming. Including, I mean, I know the V metric is going to like Gomez, but I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. All right, Chris, I think you're first.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this fight. I think there'd be a different kind of.
No. I can't pick Waterson Gomez. This next, I'm leading in. It's called a tease, Chris. I'm teasing it.
Okay, I get you. But yeah, this is that classic early or late fight. It's either fight for early or Mearshart late. And
you can't make a case for Mearshart early. Like if Pyfer can't stop a takedown, Mearshart gets on top.
Because Mearshart doesn't wrestle that much early. That's part of his problem. Is that he should for sure, but he just stands there upright. I think ever since he stopped Eric Spicely with a body kick, he thinks that that's just what he should be doing. But it's got to be late because you almost have to force him to wrestle. Like if you hurt him or wear him down, he's like, okay, now I guess we have to do it now. But he just gets hurt too much. Even in that Mahmoud Muradov fight, he had a terrible first round. He got hurt a lot. He was having a bad fight against was it Dustin Stolfus? Was it a bad fight for him? And then he turned that around too. One of these times the clock is going to run out. He's not going to be able to do it. This is one of those times. I know we've been waiting for the chin to explode again, and it hasn't been. Maybe, Michael, maybe. But if not, I feel like the power is just going to play too big, and I actually think Pyfer gets the knockout here. I don't think this is this is going to be that exciting. If I'm wrong, if Mearshart can wear him down, then he can beat him. But I don't think he even gets it done on the first takedown, to be honest. I really think Mearshart likes to scramble around. He likes to give up position. These are some of his favorite hobbies. It doesn't really matter who he's fighting. And then he'll win in the third round. I don't think he gets the chance here. I think Pfeiffer gets a quick and decisive knockout. I'm going Joe Pfeiffer.
Joe, who you got?
Yeah, so I like GM3. I mean, he's the lunch pail fighter. He's the kind of guy that eats, fried bologna on white bread with a little bit of ketchup. He's that kind of guy. I like him. He's good. He pulls victory out of the jaws of defeat. Everybody loves GM3, right? I'm very happy to see him, having this tenure in the UFC. He's great at taking advantage of other people's mistakes, but I do like Pfeiffer here. I think Pfeiffer is going to finish him. I think this is definitely a fight you need to play because of the inside of the distance line on this fight. Sure, play a few shares at GM3 in case he, again, pulls, victory out of the jaws of defeat. But I like Pfeiffer here. I like him to get the finish. One of my favorite GPP plays on the slate.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk Luana Pinheiro, however you want to say it. 8,600, taking on everyone's darling, Michelle Waterson Gomez at 7,600. Guys, she's married. She hyphenated her last name, so you trolls would get out of there. Just knock it off. Anyway, no, I don't blame any of you, to be perfectly honest. Pinheiro minus 175, Waterson plus 150. Somebody explain to me why Pinheiro is not going to just take down Michelle Waterson and just beat her to a fucking pulp. And then somebody explained to me that even if that doesn't happen, how Michelle Waterson's going to end up on the optimal lineup scoring 80 points. So
I know I'm up, and I'm going to tell you it's really sad to see how, Michelle Waterson has let herself go at 35 years old. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek. She is fucking, sorry, I can't say that. She is ripped, Michelle Waterson. I mean, she is. She is just in great shape. I got on the V scale, I got Michelle Waterson 2.4 to 2.5. I got
what's the top of the scale? Wait, what's the top of the scale? The top of the scale is 3. Not too many 3s out there. I think so far of all the rated fighters, the 2 highest were Lipsky and Grasso. Okay, we got to talk. We got to do a separate.
We got to do a separate. KTB is right there with Michelle. So in any case, so I got Pinheiro as a 2.0. I got Pinheiro as a 2.0 on the V scale. I've got TKH as 2.4 to 2.5. The V scale picks TKH as the winner. I am actually in support of the V scale here. I do not think very much of Pinheiro, especially outside of the first round. I think she could look really good in the first round, and then you can bet on TKH at like plus 250, plus 300 late, because I think if Pinheiro cannot get it done in the first round, which I do not believe she will, because look, Michelle Waterson even looked good in the first round against Lemos. So I don't see her getting finished in the first round. I think this is the easiest fight Michelle Waterson has had since Crocs were cool. So let me say TKH here, plus 135, probably a better bet than a DraftKings play, because I don't know that TKH is going to get the finish here. But, let's go Michelle Waterson Gomez.
We have to do a separate podcast, not on this channel, about what this scale is and how it works if Michelle Waterson's at 2.4 to 2.5. Because I have questions and concerns now. But
so what? You have her lower or higher?
Well, what exactly? No, this is a whole different podcast. Well, how are we rating it if we're just...
the ratings are solely at my discretion.
You're a madman. All right, Chris, who you got?
Yeah, I always tend to give my hot takes away because I'm so excited I can't take it. But Michelle Waterson by submission plus 1,000.
This is not even a hot take. I've seen this everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. I get you're on the odds. I've seen so many people taking her. I can't get my head around it.
It has to be a hot take of plus 1,000. Look, Pinheiro is just she's a lot like who we just talked about against if she can't be a bully against Calvillo. It's sort of the same kind of thing, except, this time it's the judo. And look, I'm taking the OG of the head and arm throw, which is Michelle Waterson.
Oh,
Nobody
God.
can out head and arm throw Michelle Waterson. Don't even try it. I think she's
2023.
I think she is going. It doesn't matter. That trick never dies. I think that Michelle Waterson is going to be the one to get the takedowns here or to out scramble. She's obviously going to be the quicker fighter, more agile on the feet. I think she's the better striker. Obviously not the more powerful striker, but should be able to angle off and use her movement. And I think she's got a good chance of finding the back and getting a choke here. I really don't see her like who's the last person that really gave Michelle Waterson fits on the ground. It doesn't really happen. She scrambles well. She's good positionally. And Joe, I don't want to hear it. She's good positionally, and
you set it up yourself.
I know. Well,
you did that to yourself.
Trying to cut it off to yourself. But yeah, I just think this line is way too wide. I know that Waterson hasn't really won, although I did get nervous when Joe said the Crocs were cool line, because the last time he said that to me, it was to try to diss my girl JoJo, who put up 100+ points. I am happy to say in that fight on the last pay-per-view. But I do agree with Joe that Waterson takes this home, and I think she could surprise some people here just by the opponent, by the way she crashes distance, by the way she's kind of sloppy. And another one I think can't win if she can't be the bully on the ground. So give me Waterson. I'm going to take the shot.
All right. I'm about to take a shot. You ready? You ready? And he watches stuff, so maybe he's going to light me up. Kelvin Gastelum, 8,200, taking on Chris Curtis at 8,000. Kelvin Gastelum is currently, let me get the line out, minus 125. Chris Curtis is plus 105. Chris Curtis has terrible MMA environment IQ. You're going to bitch you're not on the main card because of rankings and this and that, and Raul Rosas Jr. is. You know who sells more? Not you and Kelvin Gastelum. You're crying after the Hermanson fight. It just really grinded my gears. And now just are you paying attention, bro? Are you there? Because I don't think you are. Yeah, he's an 18-year-old potential star. You are journeyman fighting to get back in there. It's also, you're leading into the pay-per-view. Have some kind of awareness, focus on your fight, and shut up. Yeah, I can be a keyboard warrior too, because I don't like Chris Curtis. Just come on, dude. And I was a fan. I am still a fan of him. But I disagree vehemently with his take here. And I don't even like Raul Rosas Jr. Really. I think he's going to win, but something about me, he's got an enormous melon. Something about him just is not right. I get whatever. The whole thing is aggravating, and this fight aggravates me, as I mentioned in the lead-in before, because I don't know which one of these guys is going to show up. Am I going to get crying Curtis who can't cut off Hermanson? Am I going to get Kelvin who's going to try and wrestle? Is Kelvin just going to eat shots? Is Kelvin going to retire? What's up with Kelvin's eye? What's up with his teeth? What are we doing? What's going to happen in this fight? Give me Chris Curtis by he touches the bigger head more times in a decision, but I don't like this fight. Pretty much, period. All right, somebody save me from myself. Who's up?
I think it's no. Oh, it's me. All right,
that's you. You're up.
I'm gonna jump in and save Shaun from his existential crisis here, and say that
did anything I say totally off base?
Well, I mean, not really. It's just that he doesn't bother me as much as he bothers you. Maybe that's because he talks about Metal Gear Solid a lot, and I'm a big fan of those games, so I instantly like him. But
video game guy, but dude, have some awareness.
I get it, but I actually do like him for this fight. When all is said and done, I mean, I know that Hermanson fight was a bad look, but 3 out of his 4 wins, 109, 106, 95. He's a real good boxer. He can throw in combination, put them together, mix targets, all that good stuff. And Kelvin Gastelum, I just don't know what he has left. I mean, he's probably going to try to wrestle. Is Chris Curtis' takedown defense rate still 100%, or did somebody get him? I think it might still be 100.
I think it's still 100.
But so I don't think that works for him. And if that doesn't work for him, I don't know what he's going to do, because he has become, as he's regressed, I think, he's become so not there. Just one of those fighters who falls into that trap of not throwing enough, not certainly not wrestling enough, although that wouldn't help him here. But I think Curtis is kind of going to take over this fight. Gastelum's hard to finish, so this might be a better bet. I think it's like plus 110 or something. I think any plus money on Curtis is pretty good. So, yeah, I'm taking Curtis. I like him here. I don't think taking a shot is out of the question. I just think Gastelum's a little too tough to get anything out of this but a cash play. And maybe like a little less than that. Maybe like 76, 78. Like 78 to the 84 range is probably where I would put the score here. But I do think Curtis wins. And there's a little bit upside there if you want to take a shot at it. But the pick here is Curtis.
Joe, who you got?
I don't want any part of this fight in DraftKings. But I am.
You want any part of the argument I started? Come on, chime in.
I am betting on Gastelum to win though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I like Gastelum to win here. I think this is probably the most favorable matchup he's had again since I don't have to say it, Chris, but this has been the most favorable matchup he's had since
Crocs are cool.
Jordache jeans. I don't know, whatever, man.
Jenko jeans.
Yeah. There you go. So I like him here, but again, much better as a bet than as a DraftKings play. I don't see this fight. I see this fight going to decision. I don't see this fight scoring very highly. Anecdotally, the guy who kneed Gastelum in the mouth and ended up like pushing his teeth in all different directions, got really bad staph and almost lost his leg. Really kind of interesting side story. You guys like narrative. But I'm on Gastelum here.
Nobody likes narrative as much as you, Joe.
I'm a narrative guy, man.
All right, it's time for the main card. We're going to take this weird pause commercial break for the podcast platforms, and we'll get right back to you. That's my car salesman pitch. You guys like it?
I love it.
Really cringy. If you're gonna lean into it, I'm gonna be as cringy as possible every month. I'm gonna try and break you. Cringy. I don't know what I'm gonna do next month. I gotta start planning. All right, let's talk about the main card. Raul Rosas Jr. 9,100. Take it on Christian Rodriguez at 7,100. Line on this fight: Rosas -2. Depends where you look. Between 215 and 250, depending on the book. Christian Rodriguez, you can get between plus 185 to plus 200. I've seen a lot of people take the shots on Rodriguez. I get it. UFC knows how to build a star, though. This is a good fight. You also got Rodriguez missing weight. And probably because he knows he can't get taken down here. I think Rosas gets him down and gets a submission. I get the guys wanting to take a shot here, but I would rather spend my shot on derailing Joe Pyfer than derailing Raul Rosas Jr., just stylistically. Could be wrong either way, and I'm going to have a little bit of Rodriguez. I'll be underweight, but I feel like people are discounting Rosas in this fight. I don't think this is a spot where the hype train falls off. Joe, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I did a pod last night with Kevin and Big Marley, DFS Army, and I picked C-Rod based on information that I had received in listening to Santino DeFranco, who is, the head trainer at Fight Ready, I guess the owner of the camp. C-Rod, even though it says Rufus Sport, he actually has done most of his camps at Fight Ready in Arizona. And, just talking about how good his jiu-jitsu is good, and how tough a fighter he is. And I was picking him based on that. And then this whole debacle with the weight and the fact that he just didn't even look good. I'm not going to change any of the lineups I already built that had C-Rod in them because I hate doing that, but I'm probably not going to have the same amount of ownership that I had. And I now am I'm actually changing my pick to Rojas for all the reasons you mentioned. The hype train, the UFC. I thought this is obviously going to be his toughest test, and I thought C-Rod was live. I just don't know what happened in training away from Fight Ready. Why did he have an issue making weight? This is narrative that I unless someone has some inside info that they could share. I don't understand.
Somebody call James Krause.
Yeah.
If you can reach
so I'm going to switch my pick to Rojas for the purposes of this pod, just simply because of what happened today.
I'm down with it. Joe, who you got? Chris, you got. Sorry.
Okay, so I made the mistake of trying to fade Ross in his debut because I just thought,
mistakes were made.
Veteran.
Mistake.
Yeah. I just thought, veteran, and my thing was I had too much, like I was seeing like the ghost of like Chase Hooper, where I said to myself, okay, we have an 18-year-old kid here who maybe he was 17 at the time of the fight. Was he 18 or 17?
I think he was still 18. I think he was 18. I think.
Right. So we have an 18-year-old kid here who needs to use grappling as his base, and I just don't know if he has the strength to do it. He lost position a lot in that Contender Series fight. He did pull it out, but he looked in control against Pereira and tore through him. I was really impressed with that. And then you have a guy like Christian Rodriguez who's been taken down 10 times in 3 UFC fights. It just doesn't look good. And I know that Christian Rodriguez caught a sub on Joshua Weems when Weems took him down. I think if he tries to grapple with Rojas, he is going to be in trouble, not for the least of reasons than Rojas is going to be the longer fighter here, which helps when you're grappling. I just think that Rodriguez isn't going to have that much for him. The length is going to help on the feet as well. I don't like how flat-footed he stands. That's probably why he gets taken down so much. And I don't think he can. I don't think he can hang on the ground. I actually picked submission for one of my bet plays. You still get plus money on that. I think it's like 155, which
Really
is a lot. I think so.
I like that play quite a bit, actually. Then.
Yeah, as did I. I think that I think he gets it done here. I think it's out on the ground, and I think it's by strangle. So I'm going Rosas.
All right, next fight up. Let's talk Kevin Holland, 9,300. Santiago Ponzinibbio, 6,900. Holland minus 235. Ponzinibbio plus 200. If Kevin Holland has any kind of interest in the fight game, I'm sorry, Ponzinibbio is too old. I think Holland's length will be there. They'll stand and strike. I don't like the 9,300. Really. Ponzinibbio live, sure, because the Holland can no-show. I mean, he's clearly. I think we've seen a little bit of deterioration from him. Also wonder about the hand from the Wonder Boy fight. Some variables, some narrative there that could put you on Ponzinibbio. It's not my least favorite shot on the card, but I'll be on Holland. But I think there's more places I want to spend my money up top. But I don't hate Kevin Holland, and he is the pick. Just first, Joe, who you got?
Yeah, so before we talk about that, I don't know if anyone is playing MLB, but the Coors field factor is in effect today, and you got to love it when your $2,500 outfielder and your $2,900 third baseman lead off the game going back to back. This is the first MLB lineup I put in all year, and the only reason I'm playing is because they were offering UFC Rainmaker packs. So I put in a lineup, and my guys go back to back. Okay, so let's talk about the fight. Yeah, I would love to think that Ponzinibbio had a shot, simply because building lineups with Ponzinibbio's salary is incredibly easy. As people who have been doing early builds can tell. The problem is I am less and less convinced as the week goes on that Kevin Holland's athleticism and speed is just going to do him dirty. And I am less and less confident that, Ponzinibbio, who beat the least athletic guy in the UFC coming off the couch, and it took him 3 rounds to do it. And he was probably losing that fight going into the 3rd round when, the Great White Buffalo, Alex Morono.
Great White Buffalo.
It was as impressive and as unimpressive a win as you could possibly have. And I just, Kevin Holland is got bad fight IQ. He's a bit of a clown. But it's hard to pick against him here, and it's hard to give Ponzinibbio a shot. I don't know how I feel about this fight, backing Kevin Holland for DraftKings. He's not fitting well in my builds. As I said, Ponzinibbio fits a lot better. But give me Kevin Holland.
I might actually. We might have to make a haircut bet.
Yeah, your hair is a little crazy, buddy.
Yeah, I go to my barber and I tell him I take off everything but the eyebrows.
Yeah,
All right, let's. Chris, you went first, right?
No, I didn't go yet.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But, I know you see the hair and you think, oh, he won't.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's so this fight's got him all kinds of ways. He's not interested.
But so you ranted before. It's kind of time for me to mini rant now. Like, so if I was Kevin Holland's coach or one of his coaches, I would have just said goodbye. I'm not training you anymore. If you were facing Wonder Boy and you fall into mount essentially, and then you just get up because you say I don't feel like wrestling, then you don't want to win fights, and I don't have time for you. Go away. Go do something else. You clearly don't want to do this. Why are you wasting time? I have guys in the gym who probably are training their asses off who actually want to fight. So you can go do whatever. You can go on the kickboxing circuit or do whatever if that's more fun for you, and get out or take it seriously, which I don't think he's going to do. Okay, and rant. I think that Ponzinibbio, and this kind of bleeds into that, and why I'm picking Ponzinibbio is because I think his toughness might be enough. I fully expect Kevin Holland to come out and use that speed, as Joe said, and some of the explosive combinations he can put together. But I think I should say, too, that when you talk about getting off the couch, I'm quite certain Kevin Holland is getting off the couch, too. I don't see that guy putting in the hard hours training. But I could be wrong about that. I don't know. But so I think that as this fight wears on, I think Ponzinibbio is going to get closer and closer. I said he's lost agility. There's no question. His angles are still pretty good. He can still sort of trap Kevin Holland against the cage, which a lot worse fighters in terms of footwork than Ponzinibbio have done that before. John Phillips did it for a little while. Santiago Ponzinibbio can do it too. I think that he's liver than you would think, and I agree that it's easy to build lineups with Ponzinibbio in there, and I'm going to take that to heart. I'm going to try and see if I can do it because I like him enough to take a shot. Kevin Holland, not that explosive a finisher, certainly not a one-strike finisher, and that's enough for me. So I'm taking Ponzinibbio here.
All right, now we can go ahead and talk about the next fight, which I had pulled up here. All right, it's Adrian Yanez, 8,500, and everybody's favorite underdog, Rob Font, at 7,700. Line on this fight, let's start there. Yanez is minus 190. There's line value on Adrian Yanez. Despite everybody picking Rob Font, the line value is on Adrian Yanez. At minus 190, comeback on Rob Font is plus 165. When Rob Font wins, he has put up decent DraftKings scores, including 114 points in a loss, which is just bananas. Look, Rob Font wins rounds until you hit him. That's a problem when you're fighting. It's a very large problem to me. Adrian Yanez can strike. I think he's going to be, and I don't think, and you know, that's what Cheeto does. Like, there's a typical Cheeto fight last time out against Corey Sandhagen. And so I'm not overly impressed by what Rob Font did. I think this is going to be a competitive fight. I just think Yanez is the cleaner striker, especially when you mix in his kicks. I think the kicks will be a big factor in this game, in this fight. Leg kicks, moving around. I like Adrian Yanez. I get Rob Font is live, but you think he's going to put up a $120 against Adrian Yanez? I have a hard time seeing it. And the fact that everybody likes him makes me like him less, which is game theory-wise. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, just way too hurtable.
Oh, shit. That's not good. He agrees with me.
Look, like you said, he could be winning. I mean, I don't remember offhand the numbers on that Cheeto Vera fight, but he outstruck him by like 100.
He had like 270 strikes in that fight.
That's the craziest scoreline I've ever seen in an MMA fight.
114 in a loss.
And it's not even that he outstruck him by that much. It's that there was no doubt who won the fight by the end of it. Like the stats looked like that, and everybody knew that Cheeto Vera won the fight because Rob Font can just get caught. He just like there's the new MMA meta now is okay. Throw a lot of strikes, be active, be aggressive, overwhelm your opponent. But that doesn't work if all you do is stand right in front to be hit. There's other guys who can do that way better than you, and Yanez is not only one of them, but he's slicker. He's got better footwork. He does everything better. He might not be faster. That might be the one thing that he's not. But I don't
speed. Font has probably has better hand speed, but I think Giannis is quicker. No.
Yeah, I would say so. Joe is gonna school me in a minute here. I'm on eggshells to hear it because I don't get it. So Joe,
you know why there's no line value in Adrian Yanez? Because Font should be favorite. First of all, Adrian Yanez is not in the same stratosphere as Vera or Jose Aldo, right? I will give you this. Font does not wear damage well. Font has got the best floor on this entire slate, right?
Time.
Well,
It's hard to disagree.
It's about what happens when he gets hit.
Those two sentences don't make sense to me together. Doesn't take damage, doesn't wear damage, it doesn't take damage.
He doesn't wear damage well. That's why it looks bad to the judge.
Doesn't take damage though. I'm worried that you get knocked down a bunch of those
by
times.
Cheeto, by Vera and Aldo, who are two of the hardest hitters in the division. Giannis doesn't hit that hard. Giannis lost the first round to Randy Costa.
Come on, wait a split decision. You don't Aldo, especially late career Aldo. Especially late career Aldo was.
In what universe is Adrian Yanez a favorite in this fight? Like, you should back up the truck and take all of Font that anyone's willing to give you at plus 160.
I want everybody to remember this because this is going to be a big one.
This line should be flipped.
Every sports book right now is like, okay.
Rob Font, Boston Tough, spars with Calvin Kattar.
Boston Tough getting knocked down constantly. I don't get it.
Yeah, Giannis has fought nobody. Okay, I will give him props if he fights, if he could beat Font. I will give him a lot of props. But Font is going to pepper him with the jab. Giannis starts slow. Font's going to pepper him. Oh, by the way, Font's going to get at least 2 takedowns in this fight. At least 2 takedowns in this fight.
You might get one and a little bit of
better fight IQ. Okay.
For what it's worth, he could not knock out the ghost of Cody Garbrandt in 5 rounds.
He was whatever that's with Garbrandt. He just wanted to beat him up.
All right.
Anyway, all he's got to do is pepper that jab and score. That's all I need. At his price point, I'll take the 114 points and a loss. I will take that.
Some of the score lines are inflated. You remember the last 3 Rob Font fights were 5-rounders that went all 5 rounds.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Inflation there.
I get it. I totally get it. I like that. I like that he's taken a year off since that fight against Vera. I like his training partners. I like everything about him in this fight. I don't understand the line. I get that Giannis is a good fighter and has a future in the UFC, but this is too much for him. I mean, let's do a little bit better than split decision wins against the likes of Davey Grant and losing the first rounds against the Randy Costas of the world, and then tell me that you're ready for Rob Font.
It needs to be said that Randy Costa is a nightmare in the first round. He is.
Come on, man.
He is.
Whatever.
This sounds like a good
t-shirt. Slow.
We just said we needed a hair bet. We doing a hair bet? What's going on?
Well, I mean, how much more can I shave off? I mean,
no. I mean, Joe's got to put up. I mean, Chris has got to put up his hair. But Chris, what is that going to take from you to do that? What's Joe got to offer up?
I don't know. I could send him the hair and he can wear it as a wig.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's just what I need.
That's terrible.
Okay, guys, I'll be laughing all the way to the bank when Rob Font schools Adrian Yanez.
This is going to be.
I'll be underrated.
At least now I'm going to enjoy watching this fight because
is 60% Rob Font too much? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh God. We'll well, you. I mean, if you're right, you're gonna.
I'm going to die on my sword with Rob.
That's fine. Font. Take a stand on it. I don't want to take a stand on the guy who gets hurt like that. That's fine. Everyone's got to make a stand. It's how you have to play. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Gilbert Burns, 9,600. Jorge Masvidal, 6,600. Line on this fight, minus 425 Burns. Masvidal, plus 325. Guys, Masvidal is old. He's slow. He would have lost to Burns in his prime, and he ain't in his prime. And Gilbert Burns is a fucking killer. Like, hey, Jorge Masvidal fanboys, you better hope Gilbert Burns is in a good mood tomorrow night and decides to carry Masvidal for a little bit or show out, because if Gilbert Burns wants to end this quickly, I think he will. I think he can. And not a believer in Masvidal. Masvidal, great job. Similar to Anthony Pettis, he's done a really good job getting paid and playing up the end of his career as a veteran. He's really similar in that way. Pettis is getting paid well by game bred MMA, shockingly enough, and took PFL money. He's really good job navigating it. And Jorge Masvidal has taken that Ben Askren knee that's tattooed on him now and ridden it. And props to him. But in terms of handicapping a fight, Gilbert Burns is different. Good luck, game bred. Gilbert Burns is the pick. Joe, who you got?
Yeah, what I really like is how chiseled Masvidal looked on the scale, how hyper-focused he was for this fight. Tongue in cheek. I can't even say that with a straight face.
No.
He looks like the Cuban Pillsbury Doughboy, and he's clowning. Did you just see the video about the altercation he got in the parking lot after the weigh-ins? I mean, what the hell, dude? I think he's leaving his gloves in the octagon, win or lose. And I'm thinking he's going to lose. I like Burns in a big way. It's hard to get to Burns at 9.6K. You really have to take a stand. But I like Burns quite a bit here. I mean, look, Masvidal's got that power. He could catch him with something, but I don't think Burns is going to be stupid here. I mean, God, the guy went the distance with Hazmat. You think he's going to really worry about an aging Pillsbury Doughboy Masvidal? Come on. Gilbert Burns all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, he can't do anything else. He looked so bad against Colby Covington. I mean, this was a guy who was known for his footwork at least, and he just looked so stuck in the mud and just unagile. Maybe he was just worried about the takedown, but I hated it. Now, the one thing I will say is that Masvidal has a really good jab, and Usman's jab basically beat Gilbert Burns. But again, I think these are different animals. I think Gilbert Burns takedowns whenever he wants them. I mean, if this were, it's tough because there are elements of Masvidal's game where you're I still think about when Damian Maia said he was the best jiu-jitsu fighter he ever fought. After their fight. So I do wonder sometimes, but I just can't do it. Burns is too powerful. Masvidal is too old and slow. And I just think there's not going to be enough sustained offense from Masvidal. He might give you a legitimate scare again. He might clip Gilbert once, but I think Gilbert recovers and gets a takedown and it'll be fine. I don't know. I'm with Joe. I think it's hard to get to him. I'm not going to be on him all that much. I think the one thing is Masvidal doesn't get subbed. The only sub I think that's on his record is that weird reverse triangle hangman thing that was what was that in Bellator 15 years ago. So he doesn't get subbed, and if that doesn't happen, I just don't think Burns isn't a consistent enough wrestler to do rinse and repeat, and I don't think he's going to catch him out. So I'm going to kind of stay away from this fight, but cash play, the answer is Burns.
Wow. Break up the Washington Nationals. Woo!
Okay. Let's keep it focused here because we're on the main event. Israel Adesanya, still a favorite, 8,300, taking on Alex Pereira at 7,900. Line on this fight, Izzy's minus 130, Pereira's plus 110. It doesn't matter how many times you beat Israel Adesanya, you will not be favored. And the reason is that Israel Adesanya wins rounds until Alex Pereira hurts him and finishes him. It happened in their kickboxing fights too. That's because that's how Alex Pereira fights. He is a weight bully. He's enormous and he hits like a fucking truck. And it's the left hook every time. It's always the left hook.
It's actually plus 120. The line's moving back towards Izzy now. Can you believe it?
That's a little crazy. So I am still picking Izzy, but barely, and I'm pushing to play both sides. To me, it's a coin flip fight. We've seen it play out a bunch. I think it is what we think it is, and that's fine. I'll stack it in cash. I'll play both sides.
No. Don't stack it.
Yes, you have to stack this fight.
Do not stack this fight. You actually can ignore this fight if you want. You don't even have to play it.
Joe plays cash different. Joe plays cash
Yeah,
different.
do not stack this fight in cash, guys.
Disagree.
Please.
I will be stacking it in cash.
Do not.
Anyway,
Do not play Rob Font.
play a guy who's been on his ass constantly. Yeah, that's a real safe floor. He may win, but that's a real safe floor in cash games.
He's gonna fall through the floor.
How about this? I will bet you, Shaun, and we could name the stakes later. I will bet you that Font scores more than either Izzy or Pereira. You got two fighters. I got one.
Done.
I take that.
Let's do it. I will bet you Font scores more than either one of those guys.
Well, I mean, we want you to name the stakes here. We're live on the air.
Figure out what you want to do. You know, we'll put it up on Twitter, man. You decide.
DoorDash a nice meal to the
yeah, we could do a DoorDash thing.
DoorDash dinner. DoorDash dinner bet.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. DoorDash dinner.
Who wants White Castle? Just kidding.
Yeah, what do they have in Long Island anyway? You guys have like restaurants out there and stuff? I mean,
we do. We just got our third traffic light too.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and I really liked it when they put the plumbing indoors out there too. It's pretty cool.
I still like walking outside. Okay, we really derailed here.
Especially during the winter.
So
it's all new meaning to shrinkage.
There's a lot of that going around. Okay, I'm on Izzy just because that's kind of the pick. Nothing here is going to surprise me. It is an interesting trend that when we have these immediate rematches, they favor the new champion, which in this case would be Pereira. So it's trend to watch out. Like I typically take stands like Joe is taking a stand on Font. I'll find a stand somewhere that I really like and go with it. This is a fight I'm just going to bitch out on. There's other stands I'm going to take. I'm going to just split it up and play it. I don't have a strong enough take. I just don't. Chris, who you got?
So I took Adesanya in the first fight, and a lot of it had to do with the 5-round thing, and it had to do with the Octagon Championship experience and blah, 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 and all that stuff I don't normally pay attention to. And I did, and it almost paid off, but then it didn't.
Instead, you look like a big idiot.
And I'm used to that at this point. But this time, I think I'm very confident in Pereira. The reason is just the footwork from Adesanya was getting – before he got finished in that 5th round, he was backing himself against the cage all fight.
By the way, you said the shit that Adesanya, like, he's getting crazier and loopier and just delusional.
Yeah.
Delusional. Him on the MMA Hour was bananas.
Well, you know what? Whenever I heard him talk this week, I thought about what what's his name said, who just fought Cheeto, where he was like, look, it's not all about who wants it more. Sometimes the guy who's just a better fighter wins. And that's what I think about every time I hear him speak this week, because it's all intensity, and it's all about, oh yeah, he doesn't know he's quoting Eminem and he's doing whatever. And look, man, it's about skills that win the fight. And if you haven't fixed your footwork in the last 4 months, they kept backing you against the fence where you ate all those left hooks. I don't care how confident and intense you are. First of all, there's not a scarier person on the planet than Alex Pereira. So you're not going to out-intense him. They kept saying that comparison when Izzy was talking to Kevin Gastelum, I'm ready to die. And then Pereira was across from Izzy and said, I'm ready to kill. That's a difference. That's a difference in mindset, passive and aggressive. And so you're not going to beat Alex Pereira there either. I think not only is the forward gonna weigh him down, I think Pereira might be the better pure wrestler. His takedown was a lot prettier than Adesanya's was. He didn't have enough time to actually grapple. He's got Glover Teixeira in his corner. I just like it a lot more.
If he gets on top of Izzy, that's a fucking terrifying place to be.
Yeah. And I like a lot of things about him. I think that Izzy, he's one of these guys, when he rolls downhill, he can get going. But if he's not, he really has to put his shots, like select his shots. And Pereira is not like that. Pereira will just start unloading on you, and eventually he'll find you, especially if, again, you don't have the footwork. So I'm going Pereira, and I'm pretty confident about it, to be pretty honest. So Alex Pereira and still.
Well, that's good, because that makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, I I mean, I have not had a great track record on Izzy fights. I've picked pretty much all of them wrong.
I've been to too many.
You picked against him like 6 in a row.
I know, and then I bet him, and then I pick him against Pereira against. Yeah, so look, I all the points you made. I love that he trains with Glover, lives at his house, does all that stuff. Is training wrestling with him and Wellington Thurman and all the other guys all the other Brazilians that he has up there in Connecticut. I really like that. I mean, Pereira is huge. I mean, he cuts down from 230 pounds. I mean, I would think that Izzy could maybe even fight welterweight. I mean, he comes in, he weighs in at 184 and a half. I mean, he probably didn't. I
don't think he's making welterweight. He
didn't even cut weight though. I mean, the guy did not cut weight.
Alex can go fight heavyweight.
So yeah, Pereira's gonna. I think this is probably his last fight. He probably vacates.
Alex Pereira is gonna make John Jones retire.
Yeah,
John Jones is here for a quick paycheck.
First he's gonna move. He's gonna move up to 205.
I think he's gonna jump right to heavyweight.
That would be awesome.
Try to become a 3.
I would honestly love that.
Winner title.
Honestly, I want him to stay because I want to see Robert Whitaker taking on Alex Pereira.
Well, in any case,
he's not going to stay.
I like Pereira, but I mean, it's based on the fact that I have not picked any Izzy fights correctly. I'm a little tentative about it, but I do like Pereira. I do like he's 7.9K, right? I do like that a lot. Give me Pereira here. I'll have a few shares of Izzy. I do think, one is I think this is an awful stack for cash. And 2, I think that you could play less of this main event than you would normally play a 5-round main event. I think you could, you could maybe fade this fight 30, 40% if you wanted to in GPPs. Because, I would be very surprised if either fighter scores 100 in this fight. Either fighter. So give me Pereira here. I don't think he's going to get it done early. I would love it if he did, because I'll be overweight to him and underweight to Izzy. But I think this is probably going to go late. Maybe he gets a late finish. Maybe he gets a earlier finish. But give me Pereira here.
All right, guys, it's time for hot takes. Chat, drop in some hot takes. We'll read out a couple, give you a shout. Guys, you got one queued up? Who's got a hot take ready?
I have one queued up. I'm going to give you guys a bet that I played earlier today. It's the same game parlay with multiple fights, right? So follow the logic here. I've got Steve Garcia to win and under 1.5 rounds, which is how I think it's most likely Garcia is going to win, considering he never goes beyond 1.5 rounds. That's plus 600. I got Jacqueline Amarin to win by submission. That's plus 150. And I got Ignacio Bahamondes and over 299 seconds, which means essentially over a round, minus 135. When you parlay those together, okay, it comes out to almost 30 to 1. And I put $67.89 on that parlay to win $2,000. So I got it here, guys. Again, in case you guys want to tail it, Steve Garcia to win in under 1.5 rounds, Jacqueline Amarin to win by submission, and Ignacio to win and over 299.5 seconds. 29, 30 to 1.
I like it. Guys in chat, where's everybody in chat tonight? It's actually a quiet night for you guys.
It's a combination of Passover and Good Friday.
That's true.
Guys, somebody celebrates Passover. The food Passover food is the worst. Just the worst. As Adam Ferrara once said, our people have suffered enough. Can we fix this, please? Anyway, Chris, you got one?
I do. 4 figures. Michelle Watterson by submission. Plus 1.
That's right. I forgot about it.
I like it.
Let's go ahead and let's say that. Thought I had one.
Yeah, let's go, Cameron.
Is that a hot take? What would be the odds for that?
Font TK Llanes. Let's go, Joe. Cameron, you kiss ass. You, Joe. I love Joe too.
I'll tell you exactly what that is.
While I'm struggling to find
KO.
mine here.
Go look it up in Fantasyland and then tell us.
By KO is plus 650, boys and girls.
No, I mean, Joe, how are you not playing that?
Well, I mean, I'm happy if he wins a decision. I don't care how he wins.
I think in general, this is not going to be a high. Now watch the winning score be 800. No. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring night. Winning GPP score under 600.
Wow. Okay.
I think we're in for a lot of. I don't like this card. Now we just
I like it a lot less since Chris Barnett pulled out.
Yeah, no. In general, I always play DFS, and I love the sweat for that, and I love the game and the sport. But in terms of building a card, it feels pretty meh. And Chris Carter still can't make the main card of it, so suck it. Anyway, that's what I got.
On that note,
that's all we got for Fight IQ. Make sure you go to rotowire.com/free 10-day free trial. Help to all their premium content. No credit card. It's free. More importantly than that, as much as I love the Fight IQ, the RotoWire guys, I love us, the Fight IQ guys, more. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Help us out. Get this out to everyone. Let it be so Chris Curtis can see it, and I can trigger his sensitive ass.
Oh, wait. I got another hot take for you. Hold on.
Curtis gets a knockdown.
That's it.
Yeah, when he's so angry, he swings at a judge afterwards, which if he does that, I'll like him more because nobody likes judges.
No.
Anyway.
Thanks, guys. The Invisible Man.
Yep. Thank you, Invisible Man. Good luck in those contests. I'll see you guys next time for Fight IQ.
Thanks,
UFC
Cameron.
288 coming up. Good luck, guys. Somebody take it down.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
See ya.